Hey guys, Dan here with Battlefield Curator. Happy New Year, and I'd like to show off 3 of the rarest rifles I have in my collection. Now, some of y'all have been asking about some of these or have probably seen them on my Instagram or Facebook, so I'm going to just show them off and give you a little bit of history about them and why they're so unique in the military surplus collecting world. Alright, so first, what we have here is the Persian Mauser Model 49. At first you would look at it and you would say, that looks kind of like a VZ-24 or a shortened K98K, but when it actually is a Persian made rifle. So if you're thinking VZ-24, you're partially correct because the Czechs actually came into Persia, or what is now Iran, and they set up a factory, and the Iranians or the Persians developed this rifle under contract. It's designed after the Model 30 carbine, which looks like this. Sometimes they're nicknamed the flamethrower because of the huge muzzle blast that they fire. It fires an 8mm Mauser cartridge. It does have the very cool looking Persian lion crest on the receiver. The serial number is in Farsi, and also the model name and factory is in Farsi as well. One distinctive feature about this carbine is the front sight protector. It is a very unique design to the milsurp world, and you can only find these on the Persian made rifles. This is a truly hard to find rifle. It's so rare that even Forgotten Weapons doesn't have a video on these. I'm probably going to make a video on these in the future very soon. The next rifle I want to show off here is what appears to be a sporterized Arisaka rifle, like a sporterized Type 30 or a sporterized Type 38. Essentially, that's kind of what it is. I mean, if you look at it, it is an Arisaka, but Thailand, after World War II, needed some weaponry to arm their guards and their police force. They didn't want anything fancy, but they knew that, hey, we need something that's going to suffice for modern era weaponry. So they got a lend-lease contract from the US. They got a bunch of M1 carbines. Now, Thailand said, hey, we also got all these Type 38 Arisaka rifles lying around. We need to do something with them. We don't have enough M1 carbines to supply all the guards in the army or all the police force. So they took their Type 38 rifles and they converted them to these, what is known as the Thai Type 91. Now you can see the differences here between the Thai Type 91 and the Type 38 Arisaka rifle. You can see that the barrel has been cut short, the front sights move back, the swing swivel moved back, a retaining clip installed, the marking scrub from the original Type 38 rifle, and it has a Thai crest. There was a Thai crest, a specific Thai crest for the army and a specific one for the police. In Siamese, there is a serial number. The bolt handle was also bent. You can see that there was a slot cut out for the M1 carbine oiler and sling. So essentially, they made these look like M1 carbines to intimidate any potential threats for the police and army guards. Now these are kind of hard to find. You do see them on Gunbroker every so often, but they demand a premium when they do sell on Gunbroker because some people do know what they are. So if you're a Japanese rifle collector, I'd say this is a must-have because it was a Japanese rifle at one point in time, and it was also used by Thailand. So it served 2 different military powers, and then it was sent to the US for surplus. I haven't actually shot this one. It still has cosmoline in the barrel, and I've yet to clean it out. Might do a video on that soon too. All right, and the third rifle I've got here is the FN-49, or the SAFN-49. This one specifically is a Venezuelan contract only 8,000 were made for Venezuela. You can tell it's Venezuelan because of the flash hider, the Venezuelan crest, and the ribbed butt plate. Now this is a 7mm cartridge semi-automatic rifle, holds 10 rounds in the magazine. This rifle was actually in development during World War II or pre-World War II. So what happened was in the 1930s, We, who worked at FN, was developing this rifle and knew about late 1930s and 1940 that, hey, Germany is going to invade Belgium and take over the FN factory, and he did not want the Germans to get a hold of the plans to develop this rifle. That could have changed the course of the war. You know, honestly, I think that Germany really liked the Mauser 98 rifle design and were not going to change from that. They could have manufactured them. There's a chance they could have manufactured these and distributed them out. Now, let me know in the comments, do you think Germany would have made these rifles, or do you think they just would have stuck with their bolt action design that they were already used to? But We did pretty good in taking these blueprints and tooling to and escaping to England. So while We was in England, he finished the design for the FN49, but that was pretty much at the end of the war in 1944. England wanted to purchase about 2,000 of them, but then canceled their contract order because the war was ending and there wasn't really a need for them when the war was so much surplus floating around. So that's the other thing too. It was hard to market this rifle after World War II because there was just so much surplus floating around the world. Com bloc nations were in a pact that they can only use or manufacture Russian-made designs, so that eliminated a lot of the com bloc nations. You know, a lot of other nations were getting surplus as leased weapons, so there was a hard sell there. And essentially, Venezuela was the first nation to get rifles, to order rifles from FN. So this is one of 8,000 or so FN49 Venezuelan contract rifles. Other countries also ordered this rifle design, but what makes this one unique, like I said, is the flash hider, the rib butt plate, and the Venezuelan crest. Now these rifles were very short-lived, and ended up making the FN-FAL, which was very modernized. There was, you know, this FN-49, you could see there's a lot of wood involved. The FN-FAL, there's no wood. So it was a very futuristic design, and that ended up being a worldwide hit for a military battle rifle. So the desire for the FN-49 slowly dissipated, and essentially in 1958, some of them got sent over to the US as surplus. And then from 1965 to 1967, most of these came into the US as military surplus, and they were not import marked because of that. So, well guys, those are the 3 rifles I have in my collection I think are the rarest and hardest to find. Coincidentally, they all came from the same estate, and they're not import marked. Well guys, let me know in the comments what your rare rifles are in your collection. Don't forget to check us out on social media, on Instagram and Facebook. And as always, be sure to learn history and curate history. Make it a great day.